Hi, my name is Stephanie Cooper and I work with the Southeast Regional Professional Development Center in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and today we're going to walk through how to create a Google form. First, we're going to need to navigate to Google Drive. We can do that by selecting the Rubik's Cube in the top right-hand corner of our screen and clicking on Drive, or from any website you can click on the Omnibar and type drive.google.com. Once our drive is open, we're going to click on the red button on the left side of our screen that says New, and we're going to create a new Google form. Once the new tab is open for our new Google form, the first thing that we want to do is make sure that we title it. We can title it right here in the middle of our screen or at the top left-hand screen where it says Untitled Form. I'm going to title it the name of this particular form, and I'm going to create kind of an assessment over Forrest Gump. Okay. So once I have changed it here, notice it's changed both places, and it lets me know that all of my changes have been saved in Google Drive. Now, the first thing that we're going to talk about, we're going to go through these main buttons that are here on our toolbar. First, we've got Undo and Redo. We're currently in Edit Question mode, but we can also change the theme. So this is Change Theme mode. It allows us to look at the different ways that we can set up the background or theme for our particular form. So I'm going to select one that I think works. We're just going to go with a plain little fireworks here. And if I wanted to, I can also click Customize and change the font type, color for the questions, for the help text, and so forth. But I'm going to leave it the way that it is. And then back on my toolbar, I want to go back to my Edit Questions mode. Now at any point, I can click on View Live Form. That will open a new tab for me, and it will show me exactly what someone who's taking this form would see. There's not a whole lot going on yet since we don't have any questions. So I'm going to close that tab and come back so that we can edit. We'll talk more about view responses and the different menus we have at the top a little bit later. So some of the form settings that we see here at the top, notice if you're a Google Apps for Education schools, you're going to have a few more options here than just a public Google account would have. So I'm just on a public account, and I can show a progress bar at the bottom of my form pages. I can allow only one response per person, or I could shuffle the question order. I'm going to leave all of those unchecked for right now. Now the first thing that you want to do in order to start creating your form is to start your questions. Question titles in education, we know that as question stem. So what is the question? Okay. We're going to start out by saying, where did Forrest Gump live? Okay. So my help text, maybe I want to help clarify this question. And I'm going to say, as a boy, or with his mother, with his mama. Okay. Now, under question type, I can select a text. Now, if I select a text, it's going to be a short text box. Notice students, whenever they see a short text box, they're also probably going to give you a short answer. Whereas paragraph text is a much larger text box. Sometimes students will give you a little bit larger answer with that. Multiple choice, check boxes. Check boxes is where you might do check all that apply. Choose from a list gives you a nice drop-down menu, kind of like we're seeing here. Scale allows you to say, on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, how comfortable do you feel with the content that we're doing? You know, 1 being not comfortable and 5 being very comfortable. So that's what it would look like for a scale type question. A grid question allows you to do a grid, but for our math teachers, you're probably not going to want to use this. It's just not the grid that we think of in our minds. You can also select date and time. So if I was having my students maybe select a date that they would come in and conference with me about something, then I might give them a date so that they could say, you know, this date and include time at this time works best for me. But this particular question, I'm going to just make a multiple choice question out of. We're going to say Birmingham, Alabama, or Montgomery, Alabama, or Greensboro, Alabama, or Huntsville, Alabama. Okay, so now I've got my 4 questions, and I'm going to say yes, this is a required question, and click done. So now I have my first question. I'm going to click add item so that I can add my next question. My next question, I'm actually going to insert a video instead. Okay, so I am going to click done. I'm going to change out of this. Now I've got this question here that I don't need. I'm going to delete it. And under add item, under the drop down menu, I'm going to add a video. So I'm going to search YouTube for Forrest Gump, see what I come up with. And perfect, 25 Forrest Gump quotes. Now I can click it and preview it from right there. But I'm going to say yes, that's the one that I want. I'm going to click select. So now I have my video. I'm going to center it. And then for my video title, I'm going to put 25 inspirational quotes. Okay. And click done. So now I'm going to add a question about this video. So I'm going to add, and I'm going to add a paragraph text question. So let me scroll down so we can see it. After watching the video, choose one quote and explain its significance. Okay, so it's a paragraph text. I'm going to make this one a required question and click done. Okay, so I'm going to add another question. And this one we will do choose from a list. Who is the most significant character other than Forrest? I love that it does spell check automatically. So I'm going to put Mama, Jenny, Bubba, and Lieutenant Dan. So now I have my choose from a list. I'm going to make this one a required question and click done. So now I've got a couple of different types of questions here. And then we're going to say that that's all the questions that I'm going to have. I'm going to view my live form just to kind of see what it looks like. So I've got my theme, I've got my first question, I've got my video. It will play for me. I have my long question, and then I also have my drop-down question, and then submit. Okay, so that all looks good. I'm going to come back so that I can continue editing. My confirmation page, this is the page that after your participants would click submit form, what do you want that next page to say? The standard is your response has been recorded. I'm going to change that, and I'm going to say thanks so much for taking this form. I can have it show this particular page. I can have it show a link to submit another response. I could publish and then show a link so that whoever just took this form can see kind of the standard about how other people have been answering. And then I can allow responders to edit their responses after submitting. I'm actually going to publish the link to the results. And then once I'm finished, I will be able to send form. There's a blue button at the bottom of my screen, also at the top right-hand corner. They look exactly the same. So whenever I click on it, I get a URL. I can share it via Google+, Facebook, Twitter, or I can type in email addresses or Google groups of people who need to have access to this form. Now, I'm going to kind of go over some of the things that are at the top I mentioned that we would come back to later. Under File, I can add a collaborator. So if I'm a 3rd grade teacher and we are doing a form together, I might want to add all of the other 3rd grade teachers in my building to collaborate on this particular form. I can send form right here under File. I can create a new document, I can rename it, I can make a copy of it, move it to trash. I can do lots of different things under File. Edit allows me to undo and redo. Of course, those are right here on my main toolbar as well. Under View, basically, these are all things that I have on my toolbar. I can view live form, edit questions, or change theme, and I can look at it full screen. Insert, under Basic, those are inserting different question types, like a text question, a paragraph text question, and so forth. Advanced is the more advanced question types, and then if I'm inserting something that has to do with layout, like maybe I want a section header, I want to insert a page break so that each of these questions show up on separate pages, I can do that. I can insert an image, or like I did a few minutes ago, I inserted a video. Under Responses, once I have people who have taken this form a few times, I can look at my summary of responses, or I could view responses. So when I click View Responses, it opens a new tab, and Google has automatically created a Google Form spreadsheet for me so that I can see all of the answers from this particular form. There hasn't been anyone take it yet, so I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Once I have some responses, I can look at a summary of responses. And the summary of responses would have nice pie charts and bar graphs and different things like that. So it would show me kind of a little bit more data based on the responses that I received on my form. I can also link my form and unlink my form if I don't want anyone to have access to it. I can delete all of the responses from my spreadsheet. And at the top, it says that we are currently accepting responses on this form. If this is something that I only want people to have access to until midnight tonight maybe, then at midnight tonight, I'm going to come and I'm going to click it so that I am no longer accepting responses. And this is the message that someone would receive if they tried to navigate to this website at that time. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes, I'm accepting responses. Under Tools, I have a script editor. Under Add-ons, I have add-ons. And then, of course, you can always search for whatever you're looking for under Help. I don't have very many add-ons for my Google Forms. I know one add-on that math teachers especially like. There is a math add-on. Let me see if we can find it real quick. And it gives you a little bit more advanced choices as far as math functions go. It's GMath right here. Okay, and it allows you to do a little bit more of a grid than what comes standard on Google. Okay, so that is the basics of creating a Google form. And again, we're going to look at that live form one last time, make sure that it's the way we want to see it. We can even take a couple of minutes and create and answer it so that we know that everything works well. For this one, I'm just going to say, life is like a box of chocolates and whatever. The most significant character, I'm going to go with Bubba, and I submit. And then there we go. There's my confirmation page, and it says, thanks so much for taking this form. Now I can click and see previous responses. Since there's only been one person who has taken this form at this time, all of the data is kind of skewed. So there we go, we see that. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this Google Form tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to always let me know at skuper